He only thought about her curves, but she heard everything. The great silver doors of the Valari Hall opened, and Lucas Ein stepped inside, his boots clicking against the glass-like floor. He was the only human in the room. Dozens of tall, elegant alien figures turned to look at him. Their skin shimmered like moonlight, and their eyes glowed softly. These were the Valari, known for their beauty, grace, and their powerful telepathic abilities. Lucas was here as Earth's new ambassador. It was supposed to be a simple diplomatic meeting. A handshake, a few peaceful words. But Lucas already felt like he was in a dream or a trap. He adjusted his suit and walked toward the center of the chamber. His heart thumped in his chest. So many eyes on him. So many unreadable expressions. And then she walked in. Her name was Lady Sira. Was taller than any human woman he'd met. Her robe hugged her form like liquid silk, and her silver hair floated as if moved by soft wind. Her movements were slow, smooth, and royal. Every step she took made the room feel quieter. Lucas tried not to stare. He really did, but he was tired, nervous, and very, very human. His eyes followed the curve of her waist, the shape of her body, the way her robe clung to her. For just a second, his brain slipped. She's insanely beautiful. That body shouldn't be legal. If she were human, She stopped walking, mid-step, mid-glide. Her head tilted just slightly in his direction. Her glowing eyes locked onto his. There was silence. Deep silence. Lucas blinked. Had he said that out loud? Did I do something wrong? He asked, voice shaky. One of the Valari elders stood. His robes shimmered like ice. You do not speak with your mouth, human. You already spoke with your mind. Lucas froze. What? Sira turned fully to face him now. Her expression was unreadable, calm, serious, but her cheeks glowed faintly, a color Lucas hadn't seen before. You admired me, she said softly, her voice like music in water. You saw me with desire, with truth, with no lies. Lucas raised his hands, trying to fix whatever just happened. It was just a thought. A mistake. I didn't mean. But the room was shifting. The elder stepped closer. Among our people, thoughts are sacred. To speak from the mind is to speak from the soul. And when one thinks with desire in the presence of a royal ... Lucas gulped. Wait, royal? Sira nodded. I am the chosen of House Veltir. And you, Lucas Ann of Earth ... have just made a soul-binding vow. The floor beneath him felt like it was spinning. I didn't vow anything, he cried. I just looked, I didn't even say anything. You said more than enough, the elder replied. And she heard everything. Lucas stepped back. This couldn't be real. Was this a joke? A trap? Or some kind of alien prank? But none of them laughed. Not one. Sira stepped forward. Her voice was calm, almost soft. You could have hidden your thoughts. Others do, but you didn't. That is rare. That is ... honest. Lucas looked around. Every Valari in the chamber had bowed their heads, like something sacred had just happened. His voice dropped to a whisper. What does this mean? Sira's glowing eyes locked onto his. It means, by the law of the mind and the heart, we are now bound. A deep sound echoed through the hall. A gong of agreement. The walls shimmered as if alive. Lucas stared, stunned. I just proposed. The elder gave a slow nod. And Lady Sira has accepted. The last thing Lucas saw before his legs gave way was Sira stepping toward him, not with anger, but with something else in her eyes, something dangerous, something curious, something ... warm ... and then the lights dimmed. Lucas opened his eyes slowly. He was lying on a soft bed round, glowing slightly at the edges. The ceiling above him looked like a sky full of stars. It wasn't Earth. It wasn't. Any place he knew. As he sat up, memories hit him fast. The meeting hall, Lady Sierra, her perfect glowing body, and his stupid, very human thought. Then her voice echoed in his head. "We are now bound." He groaned and held his face in both hands. No, 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 what did I do? The door slid open with a soft chime. In walked Lady Sierra, dressed in a flowing silver robe that seemed alive. Her long hair moved like mist behind her. "You are awake," she said gently. Lucas stood up quickly. "Look, Lady Sierra, this is all a big mistake. I didn't mean to." "You did not mean to admire me?" she asked, tilting her head slightly. He froze. "No. I mean, yes, I admired you, but it was just a thought. Where I come from, that's normal." Sierra stepped closer. "On Velaria, thoughts carry power. They are truth. They are deeper than words." Lucas rubbed the back of his neck. "Where I come from, thoughts are private, and sometimes dumb." For a moment, she just looked at him. Then she smiled. It wasn't cruel. It wasn't angry. It was soft. "Curious, I understand," she said. "But the bond has already begun." Lucas's heart pounded. "Bond? Like marriage?" Sierra nodded. "Yes, you made a vow without words, and I accepted. That is law." He took a deep breath. "Okay, so how do I undo it?" She blinked, slowly. "You cannot." Lucas laughed nervously. "There must be a way." Sierra looked away, her face unreadable. "There is one way, but it is not simple. You may request the trial of the mind. If you win, the bond is broken. If you lose, it becomes final." Lucas frowned. "What kind of trial is that?" She met his eyes. "The council will enter your mind. They will see your true feelings, every memory, every thought, every secret, and they will judge if your vow was pure or a lie." Lucas swallowed hard. "So I get mind scanned by a group of glowing aliens?" Sierra nodded. "Yes, and if they decide you were not truthful, the bond will break. But you may not like what they see." He hesitated. He thought of Earth, of his job, his life. He didn't even know this woman. And yet, she wasn't angry. She wasn't mocking him. She was calm, honest. And deep down, she was exactly the kind of woman he always wished existed, strong, graceful, mysterious. And she had chosen him. But this was crazy, right? "I'll do the trial," he said at last. Sierra nodded once. "Then prepare your mind. The council waits." Later that day, Lucas stood in a strange room. It had no walls, just stars. Dozens of Velari elders surrounded him in a circle. Their eyes glowed brighter than ever. A voice echoed, "Let the thoughts be seen. Let the heart be heard." And suddenly, he wasn't in the room anymore. He was in his memories. He saw himself as a child alone, staring at the stars. He saw his past relationships, how he pushed people away. He saw himself waking up tired, day after day, wishing life meant more. And then he saw Sierra. That moment in the hall, the way she moved, the spark of something real in her eyes. He hadn't just thought she was beautiful. He had wanted to be seen by someone like her. To not be alone anymore. When the vision ended, Lucas was shaking. He looked at the council. They were silent. Then one of them spoke. "You did not lie. Your vow came from your soul." Sierra stepped forward. Lucas stared at her. "Does this mean ... I'm really your husband now?" She looked at him with glowing eyes. "Yes, unless you still wish to run." Lucas paused. He didn't speak right away. Then he gave a tired smile. "Maybe ... I don't want to run anymore." Sierra smiled too. Not just with her lips, but with her whole being. And in that quiet moment, Lucas knew. This wasn't the end of something. It was the beginning. Lucas stood outside the glowing chamber again. This time, there was no fear of being attacked, only fear of being understood. He had agreed to the trial of the mind, hoping it would set him free. But now, he wasn't sure he wanted freedom. 2 Valari guards waited at the door. One nodded. "You may enter. The council is ready." Lucas glanced at Lady Sira, standing nearby in her royal robe. She looked calm, as always. But her eyes, those bright, shimmering eyes, watched him with something deeper now. Not just curiosity, hope, fear, maybe even care. He took a breath and walked through the doors. Inside the Hall of Mind, the room looked like a floating dream. There were no walls, just a ring of light, floating platforms, and stars all around. 12 Villari elders hovered in a circle. Their minds were linked together, forming what they called the Mindweave. "You have come seeking release," one elder said, his voice echoing everywhere. "But you may find truth instead." Lucas stood on the glowing center platform. A pulse of light moved through the floor. "Your thoughts will guide us," another elder said. "You may not lie. You may not hide. Are you ready, human?" Lucas's throat was dry, but he nodded. "Let's get this over with." The mind opens in a blink. Lucas was no longer in the room. He was inside his own mind, but not alone. He stood in the middle of a memory. A small, dim apartment. A bottle of cheap drink. Rain outside the window. He saw himself, younger, staring at a mirror. "I'm nothing," his past self whispered. "Just a face. Just a file number." Then the memory shattered, and another began. Lucas was on a battlefield. Not a real one, a personal one. Colleagues shouting. His boss yelling. Him walking away, hands clenched. No one believing in him. No one seeing him. "I always dreamed of something more," he thought. "Someone who looked at me and didn't just see weakness." And then came the memory, the hall of meeting. Lady Sira. That one look. That one step, the moment he saw her. He remembered how the room faded, how she moved like light through water, how beautiful she was, but how strong she felt, like a force of nature. He remembered the exact thought he had. "She doesn't look at me like I'm small. She looks at me like I matter." The memory froze, and the council spoke. "You did not speak desire alone. You spoke longing. You spoke loneliness." Another elder added, "Your vow was not of flesh, but of soul." Back in the hall, Lucas gasped and stumbled as he returned to his body. The glowing platform dimmed. He looked around. The council was silent. Finally, the lead elder said, "You are not free from the bond." Lucas's heart dropped. "But not because we deny you," the elder continued. "Because you have already accepted it deep inside." Lucas turned to Sira. She stepped forward slowly. "You don't have to stay. You're not forced. But the bond is real. I felt it." He looked at her, not her glow, not her alien beauty, but her truth. She had read his mind, but hadn't used it against him. She had listened. She had seen him. Lucas took a shaky breath. "I thought I wanted to leave," he said. "But now, I think this is the first time I've ever felt chosen." Sira blinked, surprised. Her expression softened. "You are," she said. "You were." The council began to hum a deep, glowing sound like the start of a new star. "You are now bound in mind and law. Let the stars witness." A bright ring of light circled them both. Sira reached out her hand. Lucas took it. And in that moment, across galaxies, 2 lives changed forever. It had been 3 days since the trial of the mind. Lucas now lived in a tall crystal tower on the Villari homeworld. It overlooked floating rivers, glowing trees, and skies full of slow-moving stars. It was beautiful but strange, peaceful but not quiet. People whispered when he walked by. They didn't call him ambassador anymore. Now, they called him life-bound husband, chosen of Lady Sira. He still wasn't sure how to feel, but one thing was clear. Sira didn't treat him like a prize or a trophy. She didn't order him around. She didn't act like he was beneath her. She acted normal, calm, respectful, and that made everything more confusing. Up, walk through the sky garden. Lucas walked with Sira through the floating sky gardens above the city. Each step lit up the path below them. Velari guards followed silently at a distance, but Sira waved them off. "I want to walk alone," she told them. "With him." Lucas raised an eyebrow. Still not used to that. To what? Being called him, like on someone special. She stopped beside a glowing vine. "You are special. Not because you thought of my body, but because you didn't." "Try to take it back," Lucas chuckled. "I was too stunned to argue." Sira tilted her head. "You're joking again." "I do that when I'm nervous." "I know," she said quietly. That silence held between them. Then she turned to him. "No, this is fast. I know you didn't come here to fall in love, or to be married. But I want to be clear." Lucas looked at her. She wasn't glowing brighter. She wasn't performing for anyone. She looked unsure, vulnerable. "I don't want your position," she said softly. "Not your power, not your planet. I only want to know the one who saw me and didn't turn away." Lucas swallowed. "I didn't think I'd mean it." "But you did," she replied. "And I felt it." In the private chamber later that evening, Lucas was in his guest room when Sira knocked softly. She didn't wear her royal robes. She wore something simple, smooth, and soft. She looked almost human. "I asked the council to give you your own room," she said, "in case you wish to sleep alone." Lucas blinked. "You gave me that choice?" Sira nodded. "The bond is mental, not forced. And I will not share space with someone whose soul is not ready." Lucas stepped closer. "What if it is?" Her breath caught for a second. "Then you are welcome beside me. Not because the law says so, but because you do." He looked at her for a long time. Not as a glowing alien. Not as a queen. Just a woman. A strange one. A strong one. A kind one. And maybe his woman. He smiled gently. "Then let's sit together. No pressure. No ceremony. Just talk." They sat side by side on the edge of the bed. She asked him about Earth. He asked her about her childhood. She showed him how to read Velari emotion glows. He showed her old pictures from his datapad, and slowly the space between them shrank until her head rested on his shoulder. Until his hand found hers. No kiss, no flames, no royal speeches, just two souls, one human, one alien finding peace in the silence. Lucas had begun to adjust to his new life. He wasn't just a guest anymore. The Velari palace guards bowed to him. The nobles spoke with care. Servants left small glowing fruits in his room, symbols of respect. And beside him, Lady Sira remained. Calm and warm. She didn't rush him, didn't pressure him. But every day, Lucas felt the bond grow stronger. It wasn't just in his mind anymore. It was in his heart. But peace, he was learning, didn't last long on Velaria. A whisper in the hall. Lucas stood on one of the palace balconies, watching flying beasts sweep across the sky. As he turned to head back inside, he heard something strange. Whisper. Two voices, one sharp, one low. He stepped quietly toward the stone wall and leaned close. He weakens her bloodline. He's a mistake, a human, not one of us. She's bound, but not protected. If he dies, the bond dies. With him, then we must act. Lucas felt his blood go cold. He stepped back silently, breathing fast. Someone wanted to kill him. He tells Sira that night. Lucas sat across from Sira in their shared chamber. She poured him glowing tea. But he didn't drink it. Sira, he said quietly, I heard 2 nobles today. They want to kill me. To break the bond. Her hand froze mid-air. Slowly, she set the tea down. Did they speak names? No, but they said you'd be weakened by me, that I don't belong. She stood and walked to the window. Her silver hair shimmered in the moonlight. There are some, she said, who still believe blood must remain pure, that the Valeri must never bond with other races. Lucas stood beside her. And what will they do? She turned toward him. Her eyes glowed a deeper shade of blue. They will try. But they will fail. Lucas smiled nervously. I'm not exactly bulletproof, you know. Sira didn't smile back. You won't have to be. The attack happened faster than Lucas expected. He was walking through the garden alone the next morning when the air shimmered strangely. A flash of movement. A figure in black dropped from the sky blades. Drawn dot Lucas dove to the side just in time. The assassin hissed in an alien language and lunged again. Lucas grabbed a broken branch to block the attack, but he was outmatched suddenly. The garden exploded in blue fire. The attacker flew backward, crashing into the crystal wall. Lady Sira stepped from the shadows, her eyes glowing like a sun. Her hands burned with bright flame. You touched what is mine, she said, her voice like thunder. The assassin tried to rise, but Sira raised her hand. The very air around her bent. The assassin collapsed, unconscious. Lucas stared, heart pounding. You were watching me? She turned to him. Always. He took a breath. You said I wouldn't have to be bulletproof. She walked to him, lifted his hand, and held it to her chest. You are not my weakness, Lucas. You are my reason. The council reacts later that day. The Valeri High Council gathered. The assassin had been unmasked, a noble's private soldier. Lucas stood beside Sira in the center of the hall. The nobles watched silently. Not one elder stepped forward. This act of violence against the lifebound is unforgivable. The bond was tested, and it endured. Another elder said, Let all of Velaria hear this. To harm one is to harm both. And Earth will not stand alone if this bond is ever threatened again. Lucas looked at Sira dot. Her fingers tightened around his dot, and for the first time, he truly felt it. Not just the vow, not just the bond, but belonging. The twin moons of Velaria hung low in the sky. Soft winds moved through the crystal towers, glowing. Flowers opened under the stars. It was the day of binding, a sacred moment for the Valeri dot in the center of the palace. Lucas Ein stood beside Lady Sira, wearing ceremonial robes stitched with starlight threads. Her hand was gently wrapped around his. The council watched in silence. So did hundreds of citizens. This was more than a wedding. This was history. The vow before the stars. A Valeri elder raised a crystal staff. Its tip shimmered as he spoke. 2 souls, 1 alien, 1 human, once strangers, now lifebound. The bond has survived trial, judgment, and blood. He turned to Lucas. Lucas of Earth, do you speak your truth now, not in thought, but with voice? Lucas looked at Sira. She looked calm, radiant, and strong. He took a slow breath. I came here for peace, he said, voice steady. But I found something more. I found someone who didn't just read my mind, but listened to my heart. He held her hand tighter. I didn't plan this. I didn't understand it. But I choose it now with everything I am. A ripple moved through the crowd's soft light and warmth. Then the elder turned to Sira. Lady Sira of Velaria, do you accept this vow, spoken now in full light? She nodded once, never breaking eye contact with Lucas. I do, she said. And I choose not just his vow, but him. I choose his kindness, his flaws, and his fire. The elder raised the staff higher. Then by the law of stars and soul, we name you not life-bound, but joined, forever. Light exploded above them like fireworks. The tower sang a deep, rich tone, and the people of Valaria knelt. A new title later. As the stars calmed and the ceremony ended, Lucas stood beside Sierra on the royal balcony. The city lights blinked below. You just married an alien, he whispered. She smiled. You just became royal consort of an alien empire. Lucas chuckled. That sounds like something from a bad movie. Sierra turned serious. No, it's something from a good beginning. Then she pulled out a crystal Crest Valaria's seal. By bond and by choice, you now carry my house name. Lucas Veltier. Not just husband, not just guest, but one of us. Lucas took the crest in shaking hands. So, I'm royalty now. Sierra's smile was slow. Technically, yes. But don't let it get to your head. He laughed. But inside, something quiet and powerful settled in his heart. He had come here thinking he was alone. Now, he was seen. Chosen. Needed. Not just by a woman, but by a world. Epilogue. Earth responds weeks later. Earth received a message from Valaria. A formal alliance. Peace. Trade. And a final line. Written by Lucas himself. Sometimes, peace doesn't begin with treaties. It begins with one honest thought. One moment of truth. One soul seen by another across stars. The end.